Hey, wonderful, lovely people, a pleasant evening to you. So, lovely people, today I was watching two movies. And one of the things that I do is try to always see what lesson I can learn from it, no matter what it is. And I think that has to do with having a critical thinking mind and wanting to improve on just knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That I don't just watch movies for just entertainment, but to learn. There must be some kind of principle or message that I can get. And two fundamental messages that I got today: that they're good friends who still are around, one, and that those good friends will stick by you even in your darkest moments. We need to be very careful that we're running with false narratives that everyone is evil and wicked and are against us. If we're going to run with that narrative, we're going to have to include ourselves. So you're going to have to say that, you're going to have to personalize it in and say to the first person, I am this and that. You're going to have to do that. Because if you have no confidence in other human beings, it means that you have to have no confidence in yourselves, because you are made similar to them. I don't know if a human being coming from a chicken egg or an eagle's egg or an alligator's egg, although the way how some behave, you wonder if they really came from a human's egg. And I know it is a human's sperm from the male species that connects with the egg and creates a beautiful and wonderful child. There are good friends who still exist. They're good friends who will have your back even in dangerous and dark, decadent moment. They will stick by you to the very end. The problem is that some of you don't want to listen to sound and wise counsel. If your friend comes and she says something is off, and you know that that friend has been a good friend with that man that you're dating, and I'm talking to the women now, it doesn't mean that your friend is jealous of you. It doesn't mean your friend is bad, has some bad mind, envy or jealousy or bad mind towards you. Even if she's single, it does not mean that. It means that she's seeing futuristically that your life will be in danger. There are some lessons that you will learn from, but there are some lessons that will be life-changing in the negative, forever, permanently. Let me give you an example. You had this married woman who had friends who engaged her in, well, I don't think they engaged her. They were living very frivolous lives, sleeping around with quite a number of men and so on. And she felt as though she was missing out. Married woman I'm talking about, she felt as though she was missing out. And she decided that she was going to not miss out, and she wanted to frolic and do things outside of the confines of her marriage, the vows that she would have made. So she found a young man outside of the country and decided to go and frolic with in a sexual way, and finished and came back and acted as though nothing happened, still went and slept with her own husband and went on her merry way, until one day she started to feel ill. And the illness or the sick feeling would move, and she had to go and do all the checks. Lo and behold, the woman is HIV positive. What Jamaicans say AIDS you have. Once I hear HIV, they're going to say AIDS you have. HIV positive. But prior to all of that, there was a friend who came and said, do not do it. Do not go down that road. Do not go outside of your marriage. Because this was a conscious, deliberate act. It's not a case where, sometimes things happen. You may be in a bad situation with your husband. For example, things are tumultuous and it's turmoil going on, and maybe one spouse is he's treating you really badly over the, maybe over the months, over the years. And, you probably come across somebody who just tickles your fancy and makes you feel good, and you somehow end up falling and slipping. I think sometimes mercy is shown in cases like that. But when you're conscious, I'm not saying that your person can't get HIV in that case that I just mentioned. I'm just saying when I wait, because it's not the first I've heard stories like this. When you are conscious, when you're intentional and deliberate in doing something that you know is evil, like you're deliberately now you're intentional about it, and you're strident and you're going after it, for me, your outcome is generally horrible. And that was not a lesson for her only to learn. It's a life transforming lesson. She cannot undo the disease that has befallen her body. And maybe her husband, because a friend found out, she told a friend. Friend says, I know for ethical purposes, I can't say anything. But if it continues, if I see you don't say it, I'm going to find a way to jolt him to get some information. So she said she would say to the man, your wife has something very important she must say to you. Not all your friends are seeking to damage and destroy your life or your lives. Many of them or some of them want your life to be great, just as how they want it for themselves. So when they come with a word of caution, it doesn't mean that they're bad-minding you. It doesn't mean that they're being envious and jealous in malicious and malignant ways. They're saving your life. Had that woman listened to her friend, she would have been HIV negative. She would have not had the virus that causes AIDS. She would have been HIV free, AIDS free. But she didn't listen. She wanted to be, as a married woman, a part of the in crowd. The frolicking that is going on, the niceness that is going on, not looking at the consequences of her actions. She was deliberate in doing something wrong. Intentional in doing something wrong. And oftentimes you have friends who will come and they will warn you. They say, be careful of that individual. Be careful of this situation. And you choose not to. You have in your mind that the friend is envious and jealous because maybe she's not married, he's not married, and you are. And that may not necessarily be the case. I'm going to say this to you. I've heard people saying that married women ought not to keep single friends. I don't know if I will agree with that. Because you'd be surprised. And that is why you probably have the swingers and the exchanging of spouses and all of that. Why would it be called swingers and exchanging of spouses? It means that all parties involved are married. And quite a number of situations like that are going on. You have situations where they're having extramarital affairs with other married people. So they just want to blame the single person because they're single. There are many single women and men out there with integrity. Many of them. I have married friends and so on. And I have the utmost respect for their relationship. I'm always the type to. Men don't really interfere with relationships, people's relationships, whether you're married or not. From I know involved, I don't even want to, if I have the females, the friend, I'm the friend of the female. I don't even to have conversations about your spouse. And if I have the males, I don't really want to have two conversations. When they tell me things, I say, boy, when I can't try safe and I can't work it out. If it's abusive, I'm going to say, encourage a person to stop. I said, or to separate for a moment until you sort yourself out so that one person is not annihilated or both. But I really am not the type. So there are many single women who are women of integrity, decency, and in order. We need to stop that nonsense that married women can't keep single friends. Not true. That's not true. And many have bought into that and today regret it because who they figured would have been a friend to them is not. It has to do with the character, the heart, not the fact that you say I do. Good friends still exist. keep that friend if you have one. Guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those lions.